Women are so focused on their external beauty. But you know what stops a man from actually staying with them and liking them once they're there? You know what's the most unattractive thing about a woman that women don't talk about? It's their ego and entitlement. You can't out miniskirt your awful personality. I got a response to my latest video, 6 qualities to look out for in a woman, that I have to respond to because it proves the point of the video itself. Now, I'm not making this video because I want to make fun of the commenter, and I'll change her name here, so please don't play boy detective and find out her real name under the last video like a spurg just to prove how smart you are. Let's focus on the ideas here and not act like schoolgirls. So let's call this chick Tiffany. So Tiffany says,
"Human, if you weren't so bitter towards women, you'd be an okay guy. Unfortunately, hating women is a deal breaker for me."
Okay, so you start by putting me down. Nice. I should actually use the previous disclaimer on my videos for every video now just because of people like this. You know, this one. Tiffany's comment is the same passive-aggressive shaming Paul Proteus once talked about when a woman responded to him by saying, "I expected better from you," or something.
Just saying.
And Tiffany did the same thing, as though she's my girlfriend, has some sort of authority or sway in my opinion, as though I need her approval. And this is most women's problem. They have this arrogance of feeling like every guy out there is a potential boyfriend by the way they shame them, as though guys are supposed to say, "Oh, sorry, I'll do whatever Pumpkin tells me to do." Tiffany's trying to shame me like most women, telling me she'd approve of me, that I'd be okay in her eyes if I wouldn't talk so negatively about women, as though I'm a woman hater because I talk about the bad traits in many women out there. But are women perfect creatures? Most women think so. It helps them feel better about themselves and why men won't commit to them, because they see men committing to all other manner of things, like cars, hobbies, movies, genres, music, other people, but not her. Not to mention, I talk a lot about men's faults, what men can do better, how men can pick themselves up, how men aren't perfect, how we need to see our imperfections as guys before we can move forward and live realistic in life. But no, all people like Tiffany see is, "You're not pedestalizing me like a princess." Tiffany, you say, "Unfortunately, hating women is a deal breaker for me." I don't hate women just because I have no shame in pointing out women who act badly. Awful human beings who happen to be female. Women think they can act like daddy's little girl and that all men are daddy. Well, they're not. Well, not the self-respecting ones anyway, trying to be better people, trying to not make the same mistakes they did in high school when they were hormonally charged and couldn't think of anything else. Look, I talk negatively about the worst types of women out there, which is a lot of women. Ask any older woman, your grandparents, and they'll agree with me that women today aren't great at all. No, I also talk negatively about men in my videos and how they need to improve too. The difference is women all think they're perfect without the need for improvement. That was the point of my video. And look, I get it, most of you women out there have such low self-esteem that you see yourselves as some product on the shelf gathering dust. So of course you have to market yourselves as celebrities, as perfect things to get bought. Quick, get me now. Get me before I'm gone. Nah, you'll still be on the shelf with dust on you 30 years from now. Most of the 60-year-old versions of you are still on that shelf, on the bottom shelf at the back. As an aside, hit the subscribe button, guys, and the bell icon, and give me a like. And Tiffany goes on to say,
"Men and women are natural enemies."
Stop right there, Tiffany. That's an example of women giving themselves license to act like bitch to men. No, women are natural enemies to one another. Men and women aren't. Men and women are very, very different, yes, but they cannot logically be enemies. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, neither would I. We wouldn't be alive. Men and women are more like different cultures and nationalities and ethnicities. We are and were much more compatible in the past. And Tiffany continues,
"And we learn to compromise by setting our respective weapons down and forming relationships."
Yeah, I used to think this way when I was young too, but compromising with my enemy was the reason for all of my suffering with women. No, there is absolutely no compromising with my enemies. If you're not my friend, you're not in my life, period. This is just women justifying their love of drama and chaos and going for the bad boys. They get off on pain, gossip, backstabbing. So if they believe the rule is that you're supposed to love your incompatible enemies, then you'll get more of that fun reality TV drama that they all love. Oh, and as for men and war, men respect their enemies, but we don't love them. If our enemies abided civilly by the engagements and the strategies of combat, there was a respect and an honor for those enemies. We respected those men by their conduct. That is, my enemy did something that I can respect. They did something objectively admirable as a person. Most of you women can't be respected and thus have absolutely no idea how to love or be loved because no one respects you. All this drama of talking about war as though you have any knowledge about it is just a female animal trying to claw men for the scraps left over after they've won their social battle. But you've lost the war.
Men had the upper hand forever until women revolted and took over.
At least you're honest about taking over. So you admit that women are in charge of the social norms now. Good. So stop complaining to men all the time. It's like a tennis player blaming their ranking on the ball boys.
Now, men are learning what it feels like to be a second-class citizen.
Tiffany here is the average woman out there that guys are dealing with. Cruel female rulers that are punishing men today for their grandmother's sake. But your grandmothers would think you're insane. You're not doing it for them, you're doing it for your own ego, you narcissists.
How men respond to this lesson will define how the war between the plays out.
How men respond? You just admitted that you're in charge. You took over. We're in the passenger seat now. You drive the car. Drive how you like. Go on. You're in charge. Really though, men have responded and continue to respond. Most men have walked away. One thing you women keep complaining about with guys is, but won't admit, is why are men only f***ing us today but not loving us anymore? Why is the only thing attractive that we want from you today is just physical? Could it be that you're bereft of any virtue? We can't even talk to you? There's no common ground? Why don't men want to love you? That's the question. Especially if we're supposed to ask you out and want to. Oh, men are awful, you say. Okay, keep avoiding why we're choosing everything else but not you. Fine. Tiffany, have your life of dominating your enemy males and trying to feel safe in that world. Enjoy your reality TV life of drama. My stance is to cooperate and try to love fair human beings. Tiffany's is about sleeping with the enemy, the bad boys, the drama, the fighting. Yeah, okay. Women run the insecure social sphere now. Good for you. Congratulations. But what have you won? You're increasingly alone, afraid, never feel safe, and always look to the laws to keep you safe because you've got no actual man in your life to do it there for you. And your worlds are getting darker as you reach menopause until there's nothing but your secondhand parroting of girl power. And to who? Look, have fun. Men don't care. And without men caring, what have you got? What can you do? Men are the doers. Men generally do most of the work, if not all of it, especially most of the work we need to put our hands on out there. And without us, what do you got? What gets done? Men don't dislike you. You're invisible. All you girl power chicks, you're all sitting on your thrones, spitting at cardboard cutouts of men about how brilliant you feel you are and how no one appreciates you. You look like a mental patient wearing a tiara. You say how men respond to this lesson will define how the war between the sexes plays out. Men have responded and are continuing to, unless you haven't noticed. Look at how they're treating you now. Instead of pushing the brakes, modern girl power women just keep flooring the gas until their car crashes into a wall. And then later they pretend,
I have no idea why I'm old, alone and scared. Let's work together.
Look, Tiffany and all the rest of you, sleep with the enemy or sleep with the best friend. I know which sounds more sane to me. Which sounds more sane to you, gentlemen? Don't forget to check out the last video where I talk about these issues and why Tiffany's responding. And I'll chat to you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel any way you feel like it. I'll talk to you next time, guys. Bye.